Hello. Right, I'm here again. Give me a second. Pop out chat. That side. There you go. Right. We're back. Yeah, and we're back. I went to share the screen and I pressed the wrong thing and the Hangout page come up. So I thought I better stop because I don't want sniping. Start up again. So give it a minute. I want the introduction thing go to the beginning of the last video, but I'm just going to say it again anyway. Flat Earth here doesn't represent any map or model. These are just straw man maps and models. There's no ice walls here, no domes, no stuff like that, no religion here, nothing like that. It's just logical, thinking about this logically, learning about logical fallacy, emphymemes, syllogisms, all that sort of stuff to see through the bullshit. Basically, showing people about paid trolls and stuff like that, how to recognize them and stuff like that. How to interact with trolls and stuff like that, and what trolls actually are. So there's no bendy water here. No. Only as raindrops. Or maybe a bit of surface tension. But no large bodies of water are bending here. No large bodies of water. Unless someone can demonstrate that practically and show me a large lake bending, then. But I very much doubt it because it's not going to happen because that's not the way water is, I'm afraid. IMKS, Oklahoma. How you doing? Hi, Chris Hayes, Robert Matthews, Luke Marshall, Andrew Calvert, Jeremy Brown, Lady Onyx. Damn second. Right. Give me a sec. You see. Yep. Right, I'm going to share again. We've done that one. I'll do this one next. I think I've done this one before. What are we going to do here? I'm not going to go for it that much. Right. Let's have a look. Where are we? There we go. Left Kung Fu. I'm doing it again. Yeah, sorry about having to shut down. I went to share the screen and I shared the Hangout page by mistake. I think I more than likely did actually. I'm not sure. I went to start up again. I want sniping. People don't like it when you're logical and you can see through the bullshit and you can point them out to be logically fallacious and stuff like that, sophists, and using emotional manipulation tactics and NLP and stuff like that. They don't like it. So, right. One more now here, and then one more after that, and then. Right. How to identify trolls and paid agents on social media sites. Right. I'm going to put a link to this. This is a fair use, educational purposes. Thanks to Crypto, Me, and Revolution News for sharing this breakdown of the deliberate manipulation ploys tactics that are commonly in use on social media sites by those who intend to suppress truth and socially engineer community members. COINTELPRO techniques for dilution, misdirection, and control of internet forums. 25 rules of disinformation, 8 traits of this disinformationalist, how to spot a spy, COINTELPRO agent. But they don't call it COINTELPRO no more. They've changed it now because obviously people found out about this COINTELPRO thing, so they've changed it now, and they've changed it a little bit. 17 techniques for truth suppression. I've done this before in a video, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. I'm just going to like flick through so people can pause it at their will and have a look. I'm going to point out a few points. There's several techniques for the control and manipulation of an internet forum. No matter what it is or who is on it, we will go over each technique and demonstrate that only a minimal number of operatives can be used to eventually and effectively gain a control of an uncontrolled forum. Forum sliding. Basically, if it's a very sensitive posting of a critical nature, like this subject where we're discussing about the Earth and stuff, like I said, there's a lot of people are going to lose a lot. Well, not a lot of people, but quite a few people are going to lose a lot from this. So they're not going to just give it up. They're going to keep fighting, and it's in its death throes now anyway, but they're going to keep fighting. Can be quickly removed from public view by forum sliding. In this technique, a number of unrelated posts are quietly pre-positioned on the forum and allowed to age. Each of these misdirectional forum postings can then be called upon at will to trigger a forum slide. The second requirement is that several fake accounts exist, which can be called upon to ensure that this technique is not exposed to the public. To trigger a forum slide and flush the critical post out of public view, it is simply a matter of logging into each account, both real and fake, and then replying to pre-positioned postings with a simple 1 or 2 line comment. This brings the unrelated postings to the top of the forum list, and the critical posting slides down the front page and quickly out of public view. Although it is difficult or impossible to censor the posting, it is now lost in a sea of unrelated and non-useful postings. By this means, it becomes effective to keep the readers of the forum reading unrelated and non-issue items. So we see that a lot, forum sliding on videos. The good comments on YouTube videos and stuff like that get lost in a sea of bullshit, in a sea of like ad hominem attacks and just fucking drivel, you know what I mean, that they fucking post. So they do a lot of forum sliding. Consensus cracking. It's a second highly effective technique which you can see in operation all the time. Consensus cracking. To develop a consensus crack, the following technique is used. Under the guise of a fake account, a posting is made which looks legitimate and is towards the truth is made. But the critical point is that it has a very weak premise without substantive proof to back the posting. Once this is done, then under alternative fake accounts, a very strong position in your favor is slowly introduced over the life of the posting. It is imperative that both sides are initially presented, so the uninformed reader cannot determine which side is the truth. As postings and replies are made, the stronger evidence or disinformation in your favor is slowly seeded in. Thus, the uninformed reader will most likely develop the same position as you. And if their position is against you, their opposition to your posting will be most likely dropped. However, in some cases where the forum members are highly educated and can counter your disinformation with real facts and linked postings, you can abort the consensus cracking by initiating a forum slide. Topic dilution. It's not only effective in forum sliding, it is also very useful in keeping the forum readers on unrelated and non-productive issues. This is a critical and useful technique to cause a resource burn by implementing continual and non-related postings that distract and disrupt trolling the forum readers. They are more effectively stopped from anything of any real productivity. If the intensity of gradual dilution is intense enough, the readers will effectively stop researching and simply slip into a gossip mode. In this state, they can be more easily misdirected away from facts towards uninformed conjecture and opinion. The less informed they are, the more effective and easy it becomes to control the entire group in the direction that you would desire the group to go in. It must be stressed that a proper assessment of the psychological capabilities and levels of education is first determined of the group to determine at what level to drive in the wedge. By being too far off topic too quickly, it may trigger censorship by a forum moderator. Information collection. It's basically they provide much statistical information can be gathered. It's just information collection is also a very effective method to determine the psychological level of the forum members and to gather intelligence that can be used against them. In this technique, in a light and positive environment, show you mine, you show me yours. Posting is initiated. From the number of replies and the answers that are provided, much statistical information can be gathered. An example is to post your favorite weapon and encourage other members of the forum to showcase what they have. In this manner, it can be determined by reverse proration what percentage of the forum community owns a firearm and or illegal weapon. So we get these people coming in to the live chat, stuff like that, talking about, like I said, it says there, weapons and stuff like that and all that sort of stuff. Well, I've got a gun and all this lot. What have you got and all this lot? And saying that they want to hang this person or do something to this person, trying to get you to say you do the same thing and stuff like that. Because they're gathering intelligence. They want to know who the violent people are going to be and who's who and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So be careful what you say. Yeah. I don't condone violence. It's wrong. You shouldn't. You should stick. I stick to my morals, and I think everyone else should as well. Cause no loss or harm to any man, woman, or child. Yeah. But if you're saying something, be careful what you say, especially if you don't mean it and you're saying it out of anger or something like that. Be careful. Statistically, there is always a percentage of the forum posters who are more inclined to violence. In order to determine who these individuals are, it is a requirement to present an image to the forum to deliberately entice strong psychological reaction. From this, the most violent in the group can be effectively singled out by reverse IP location and possibly legal enforcement tracking. There we go. So there's that bit. All right. Gaining full control. So these people, these trolls, these paid trolls, and stuff like that, come in and try and gain control of what's going on. You know what I mean? Remember, these techniques are only effective. I'm going to leave that there 1 second. I'm not going to read it. You can have a look yourself. Have a quick read. Got nothing to hide. I'm going to leave a link to this anyway, so you can go and have a look. When I finish reading it, I'll put a link in the chat. I'll even put a link in the description for the video when I'm done. So you can go and have a look. Just that I don't want to be on it too long. Remember, these techniques are only effective if the forum participants do not know about them. Once they are aware of these techniques, the operation can completely fail and the forum can become uncontrolled. At this point, other avenues must be considered, such as initiating a false legal precedent or simply have the forum shut down and taken offline. This is not desirable, as it then leaves the enforcement agencies unable to track the percentage of those in the population who will always resist attempts for control against them. Many other techniques can be utilized and developed by the individual, and as you develop further techniques of infiltration, the control is imperative to share them with HQ. There you go, that's what they do. Basically, 25 rules of disinformation. I've done all this before in another video the other day, so a few weeks ago. So if you go back and have a look, you'll see it there anyway. First rule and last 5 or 6, depending on the situation. Rules are generally not directly within the ability of the traditional disinfo artist to apply. These rules are generally used more directly by those at the leadership, key players, or planning level of the criminal conspiracy or conspiracy to cover up. Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. Regardless of what you know, don't discuss it, especially if you are a public figure, news anchor, etc. If it's not reported, it didn't happen, and you never have to deal with the issues. There we get this from the mainstream, and that they're doing see no evil, see no evil. You know what I mean? Speak no evil. They're not saying anything about anything. You know what I mean? They're keeping quiet, keeping stum. Become incredulous and indignant. Avoid discussing key issues and instead focus on side issues, which can be used to show the topic as being critical of some otherwise sacrosanct group or theme. This is also known as "How dare you" gambit. Create rumor mongers. Avoid discussing issues by describing all charges, regardless of venue or evidence, as mere rumors and wild accusations. Other derogatory terms mutually exclusive of truth may work as well. This method, which works especially well with a silent press, because the only way the public can learn of the facts are through such arguable rumors. If you can associate the material with the internet, use this fact to certify it a wild rumor from a bunch of kids on the internet, which can have no basis in fact. See, we've seen that a lot and all with these trolls and that. They're trying to push, oh, you just watch YouTube videos to get your stuff and all this lot, and to discover the earth is flat and a level plane. You just watch YouTube videos. This is what they're doing here, saying that it's just what they call it, you know what I mean? Just off the internet and stuff like that. That's what they try and push. Or you're just watching YouTube videos. You know what I mean? or a while ago they tried, oh, it's just what they call it, it's just people trolling, brought it out as a joke and stuff like that and everything else. They tried all that, didn't work. So now they and basically the minute they're using straw man. There you go, use a straw man. Find or create a seeming element of your opponent's argument which you can easily knock down to make yourself look good and the opponent to look bad. We see this all the time. There's a lot of YouTube channels that are attacking the straw man to make themselves look good and make us look bad because of normal everyday people that have not really invested a lot of time into this subject and everything else. Yeah. So they either make up an issue you may safely imply exists based on your interpretation of the opponent or the opponent's arguments or situation, or select the weakest aspect of the weakest charges, amplify their significance, and destroy them in a way which appears to debunk all the charges, real and fabricated alike, while actually avoiding discussion of the real issues. There we go. We see that constantly. But there's people out there that are representing these straw man maps and models and all these straw man stuff. They're representing them, and they don't realize that they're representing straw man stuff. Yeah. So they're actually contributing towards these people doing this. Yeah. That's why you shouldn't attach yourself to any straw man maps or models. You can't verify any of this stuff, like domes and ice walls and all this sort of stuff. You can't verify that. Practically, scientifically, you cannot verify that. So because they've been put out there as a straw man, so then these so-called flat Earth. I don't like the word flat Earth because it's a loaded term, but they basically put these stuff out there because then these other YouTube channels that are trying to debunk flat Earth, so to speak, which they can't because we know they can't. It's undebunkable because we know it is what it is. But well, saying that's a logical fallacy by saying it is what it is. So I don't want to be logically fallacious. We don't know exactly what it is, but we know it's not what they tell us. There we go. It's I'm not going to use the black or white fallacy, say it's flat or globe, because it's not. It could be something in between. We don't know. We just know it's some sort of level contained environment, because of the water. So we get that straw man stuff a lot. Yeah. Sidetrack the opponents with name calling and ridicule. There you go. See, we get that a lot as well. Sidetracking the opponents with name calling and ridicule. This is also known as the primary attack the messenger ploy. Though other methods qualify as variants of that approach. Associate opponents with unpopular titles such as kooks, right wing, liberal, left wing, terrorists, conspiracy buffs, radicals, militia, racists, religious fanatics, sexual deviants, and so forth. This makes others shrink from support out of fear of gaining the same label, and you avoid dealing with issues. We see that a lot as well on here. You get people coming on calling us all different names and stuff like that, flatards and everything else. And I think I saw in someone's chat the other day, in a live chat, someone were coming on saying that flat earthers are terrorists. I'm like, well, don't be silly. So they're trying everything in the book they can to try and put people off. Yeah, taking this seriously. And we see this all the time. Hit and run. In any public forum, make a brief attack of your opponent or the opponent's position and then scamper off before an answer can be fielded, or simply ignore any answer. This works extremely well in internet and letters to the editor environments where the steady stream of new identities can be called upon without having to explain criticism or reasoning. Simply make an accusation or other attack, never discussing issues and never answering any subsequent response, for that would dignify the opponent's viewpoint. You see that quite a lot as well, these hit and run comments after a live stream's finished and stuff like that and everything else. We see the hit and run stuff. You know what I mean? They come in, attack, and they scamper. And then you try and you reply to them, or someone replies to them, whatever, and they don't reply back because that's not what they're there for. They're doing the hit and run. Yeah? Question motives. We see this a lot as well from these trolls and everything else. Right? And even some of these like YouTube like debunking channels and stuff like that. We see all this from all them and from the what they call it as well. Twist or amplify any fact which could be taken to imply that the opponent operates out of a hidden personal agenda or other bias. This avoids discussing issues and forces the accuser on the defensive. See, we see that a lot as well. You can tell that there's involvement in this because all this stuff here we can see. Invoke authority. There you go. Claim for yourself or associate yourself with an authority and present your argument with enough jargon and minutiae to illustrate you are one who knows, and simply says it isn't so without discussing issues or demonstrating concretely why or citing sources. So we get that a bit as well, where they invoke authorities claiming that they're an authority in the matter, or they associate themselves with some authority and stuff like that. Oh, I make, there's one troll around at the minute saying, I make satellites, he says, and he's talking about satellites and stuff. You know what I mean? Play dumb. No matter what evidence or logical argument is offered, avoid discussing issues except with denials. They have any credibility, make any sense, provide any proof, contain or make a point, have logic or support a conclusion. Mix well for maximum effect. See, I get this a lot and all from these trolls when I'm putting out their logical fallacies and stuff like that, and all the tactics that they're using and everything else, right? Like the forum sliding and all the other stuff that I've been learning about this, what I'm showing you here and everything. I say this to the trolls, right? And they play dumb. They don't answer the questions that you're asking them, because I seem to ask them a lot and all. What preconceived idea have you got when the loaded term flat Earth comes into your mind? What straw man map or model are you trying to attach to me, or are you attacking and stuff like that? They never answer, ever. They never answer them questions, ever. I've not had one answer them questions yet. Yeah? They avoid it like the plague. Associate opponent charges with old news. A derivative of the straw man, usually in any large-scale matter of high visibility, someone will make charges early on, which can be or were already easily dealt with. Kind of investment for the future, should the matter not be so easily contained. Where it can be foreseen, have your own side raise a straw man issue and have it dealt with early on as part of initial contingency plans. Subsequent charges, regardless of validity or new ground uncovered, can easily then be associated with the original charge and dismissed as simply being a rehash without need to address current issues. So much the better where the opponent is or was involved with the original source. Establish and rely upon fallback positions, using a minor matter or element of the facts. Take the high road to confess with candor that some innocent mistake in hindsight was made, but that opponents have seized on the opportunity to blow it out of all proportions and imply greater criminality, which just isn't so. Others can reinforce this on your behalf later and even publicly call for an end to the nonsense. But you have already done the right thing, done properly. This can garner sympathy and respect for coming clean and owning up to your mistakes without addressing more serious issues. Enigmas have no solution, so you draw upon overall umbrella of events surrounding the crime and the multitude of players and events. Paint the entire affair as far too complex to solve. This causes those otherwise following the matter to begin to lose interest more quickly without having to address the actual issues. So we see that a lot as well, where they basically say, oh, too many people would have to be involved. It's too complex, and millions of people would have to know, and all this sort of stuff. You know what I mean? That's the enigmas have no solution. We see that a lot. Alice in Wonderland logic. Avoid discussion of the issues by reasoning backwards or with an apparent deductive logic which forbears any actual material fact. See, we see that. I see that quite a bit and all. Demand complete solutions. Avoid the issues by requiring opponents to solve the crime at hand completely, to a ploy which works best with issues qualifying for Rule 10. Go back to Rule 10 in a minute. Associate opponents charges with all news. Right. You see that quite a lot and all. They're avoiding it and they're asking us to prove the Earth is flat and everything else. No, the burden of proof is on the affirmative claim. The affirmative claim is the globe Earth model and heliocentric model. So the burden of proof is on them. Yeah. And because they're doing this here, where are we? This demand complete solutions, they're doing that number 14. They can never admit that the burden of proof's on them. They all try and turn it around. Saying, oh, well, in science, it's the other way around. No, in logic, it's that way around, and that's it. Yeah? Fit the facts to alternate conclusions. It requires creative thinking unless the crime was planned with contingency conclusions in place. Vanish evidence and witnesses. If it does not exist, it is not fact, and you won't have to address the issue. But they're doing that by what they call it, by hiding channels and putting channels to the right down to the bottom and stuff like that, and making sure they're not promoted and stuff. Change the subject. Well, we get them changing the subject quite a lot, don't we? And they polarize the discussion and stuff like that. We see that quite a lot. Emotionalize, antagonize, and goad opponents. You see that quite a lot from these trolls. But they try and, if you can't do anything else, chide and taunt your opponents and draw them into emotional responses, which will tend to make them look foolish and overly motivated, and generally render their material somewhat less coherent. Not only will you avoid discussing the issues in the first instance, but even if their emotional response addresses the issue, You can further avoid the issue by then focusing on how sensitive they are to criticism. See that quite a lot on all. Ignore proof presented, demand impossible proofs. We see that all the time as well, don't we? We know we do. We've seen that countless times. They ignore all the proof and they demand impossible proofs. Take a photograph of the edge. Take a photograph of the whole Earth with all the land on it. Well, what makes them? What makes? And I usually just put, what makes you think there's an edge? What cartoon propaganda bullshit? What makes you think there's an edge? Take a photograph of the whole Earth. What makes you think you can get high enough to get a picture of the whole Earth? Do you know what I mean? It's what they call it. We see that all the time. Like I said, that ignore proof, presented, demand impossible proofs. False evidence. Whenever possible, introduce new facts or clues designed and manufactured to conflict with opponents' presentations as useful tools to neutralize sensitive issues or impede resolution. This works best when the crime was designed with contingencies for the purpose, and the facts cannot be easily separated from the fabrications. Call a grand jury, special pressure, and overpowered investigative body. Right, that's just about grand jury here is no useful evidence, and that the evidence is sealed and unavailable to subsequent investigators. Manufacture a new truth. Create your own expert or experts, group or groups, authors, leaders, or influence existing ones willing to forge new ground, be a scientific investigation or social research or testimony. Create bigger distractions. So you have this thing. I don't know if they do that. They probably do. I've not come across it, I don't think. But if the above does not seem to be working to distract from sensitive issues or to prevent unwanted media coverage of unstoppable events such as trials, create bigger news stories or treat them as such to distract the multitudes. Yeah, more than likely, yeah, they'll be using that on the mainstream media and stuff. Even on here, they probably use stuff like that. They bring out other stuff to distract you from it and other subjects and stuff. Silence critics. Removing this from circulation, definitive solutions that the need to address issues is removed entirely. This can be by the arrest, attention, or blackmail. Character on this. Vanish. If you are a key holder of secrets and was overly illuminated and you think the heat is getting too hot, to avoid the issues, vacate the kitchen. And then there's 8 traits of a disinformationalist. I'm just going to quickly just go through this. I'm going to leave a link anyway. Avoidance, selectivity, coincidental, teamwork, anti-conspiratorial, artificial emotions, inconsistent, being consistent, time constant. Like I said, I'm going to leave a link to this anyway, so you can go and have a look at this bit. How to spot a spy. I've already done something on that on my last video. Like I said, I'll leave a link so you can have a look later. Saboteurs, provocateurs, informants, surveillance, scare tactics, 17 techniques of truth suppression. There we go. I'm not going to go through all that now. I'm going to leave a link to this anyway, so you can go and have a look yourselves anyway later. Just click on the link and have a look. That's it, I think, for that one. Stop sharing. I'm going to leave a link to that. Just get that there. Copy. Paste. There you go, there's that one. That's why I was slow earlier. We were running a antivirus in the background. That's why my computer was slowing down a bit earlier. Is that the real Nathan Oakley? Because there's someone that's got the same name as you and everything, the same picture, but instead of the EY on the end, it's the AY. They left a comment on my one of my videos. I just thought I'd let you know. Well, who you are. I mean, it's not good that someone's using your thing. Not tell anybody that. Right, okay, yeah. Because, like I said, someone left a comment, lady, on it. It's on my thing earlier. Using the same picture, same name, but apart from instead of EY on the end of Oakley, it was AY. So I had a hard time telling them until I looked at the different, what they call it, different spellings. Huh? Right, I'm going to do one more. Have a look at the chat a sec. Yeah, I think the truth should be free. Charge people for the truth. End of. What are you on about, you maniac? Well, it's not about views. It's not about views. It's not about subscribers. It's not about fucking being any type of leader or any bullshit like that. I'm here just to fucking learn, basically. And whatever I learn and find, I'm going to pass on to people to help them discern, see all the bullshit, basically. See all the logical fallacy and the bullshit. To be able to recognize the logical fallacies in themselves as well. Yeah. It's not just recognizing logical fallacies in these trolls and in these globe earthers and stuff like that, mainstream and stuff like that. It's recognizing these logical fallacies in yourself as well. Yeah. And recognize when you're using them and go, hang on a minute, I shouldn't be using that fallacy, you know what I mean? Because look. Right, Merle is Merlin. You in the house, Merle? Right, just one more quick screen share. And then right. Not this one, just done that one. Did I put that in? I put that in the chat, didn't I? Right. Internet trolls are narcissists, psychopaths, and sadists from Psychology Today. Fair use, educational purposes, although that only applies to the person. I'm not a person, I'm a man. And I'm very much alive. Thank you very much. It's from, like I said, Psychology Today. So it's what they call it, about internet trolls. They're narcissists, psychopaths, and sadists. These internet trolls run about here are not the paid ones, what we've been going about in the last couple of things. This is the ones that are just average, everyday people that are trolls. In this month's issue of Personality and Individual Differences, a study was published that confirms what we all suspected. Internet trolls are horrible people. Let's start by getting our definition straight. An internet troll is someone who comes into a discussion and posts comments designed to upset or disrupt the conversation. Often, in fact, it seems like there is no real purpose behind their comments, except to upset everyone else involved. Trolls will lie, exaggerate, and offend to get a response. What kind of person would do this? Some Canadian researchers decided to find out. They conducted 2 online studies with over 1,200 people, giving personality tests to each subject along with a survey about their internet commenting behavior. They were looking for evidence that linked trolling with the dark tetrad of personality traits: narcissism, Machiavellianism, psychopathy, and sadism. They found that dark tetrad scores were highest amongst people who said trolling was their favourite internet activity. To get an idea of how much more prevalent these traits were among internet trolls, see this figure from the paper. Look at how low the dark tetrad scores are for everyone except the trolls. Their scores for all 4 traits saw on the chart. The relationship between trolling and the dark tetrad is so significant that the authors write in their paper, the associations between sadism and gait. There's that word global again, people. Global assessment of internet trolling, and so Earth assessment of internet trolling scores were so strong that it might be said that online trolls are prototypical everyday sadists. Emphasis added. Trolls truly enjoy making you feel bad. To quote the authors once more, because this is a truly quotable article, both trolls and sadists feel sadistic glee at the distress of others. Sadists just want to have fun, and the internet is their playground. Next time you encounter a troll online, remember, these trolls are some truly difficult people. It is your suffering that brings them pleasure, so the best thing you can do is ignore them. And it's just reference there to the paper thing that was written. It was by Jennifer Goldbeck, PhD. I'm going to leave a link to this as well. Copy. Stop sharing. Just paste that in there. Come on. It's getting a bit slow now, chat. Right. Is that gone in? Yep. Right, there you go. There's a link to that. You want to have a look for yourselves. There is other, if you just Google that subject, there's quite a few pages come up about it, different articles and stuff. So you can go and have a look. Oh, it's telling me to sign into chat now. Oh, there you go. Oh, no. Hang on. Oh, there we go. It's refreshed itself. Yeah, Merle, good hangout. Some good stuff in there tonight. Cheers, Merle. Yeah, so I've shared them 3 things today about how to spot a paid troll and stuff like that. 2 of them. I've left a link to them so you can go and have a look, read the rest. I've not read all of them out. I read the first one out in the first video, which is about half an hour long before this one. The second one I've just read out then, I've not read it all because there's a lot more to that at the bottom. I've only read about half of that, but it would go on for ages if I read it all. So I've left you a link there to go and have a look. Like I always say, don't believe anything that I said. Go and check it out yourself. Go and find some more sources of it and stuff like that. Check it out yourself. Yeah, find the information yourself and go and have a look. Baron, how you doing? Yeah, well, there's that. Stephen Watson. Sandy123. I'm going to wrap it up, I think. We're going to have a cup of tea. I've not had the phone on tonight. I'll have to put phone on next time. I'm how long we've been on for? How long have we been on for? I'm going to start streaming up there. 37 minutes ago. Right, well, that's an hour altogether, isn't it? 20 to 12. Yeah, I'm gonna put them into a yeah, about 40 minutes. Yeah, so I've had just over an hour so far. Because we're half an hour in the first section, but I had to stop because I was I think I shared the Hangout screen, so I had to stop, start again. Sorry about that. It broke it up into 2 videos, so it's not as long for people to watch. My keyboard is up. You need to buy a new one then, don't you, Stephen? Yeah, good night, everybody. I call it a night anyway now. I'm gonna them 3 things that I've shared on screen tonight. I'm gonna do independent videos of them and upload them. I don't have to read them out. I think I'll just put some music over the top. I don't know yet. I'll put them out anyway as videos on their own as well. People that ain't got time to be watching this for half an hour or the last one for half an hour. I'll put them out as little like 15-minute videos or something. As soon as I get around to it. 5:37 p.m. there. It's 11:40 here at night. 20 to midnight. So good night. Everyone stay safe and cause no loss or harm to any man, woman, or child. Everybody, take care.